Welcome back to another explainer. I am so thrilled you're joining us today because honestly, we are about to tear down everything you thought you knew about one of the most misunderstood platforms on the internet. Today, we're putting on our consultant hats. We're delivering a tactical, zero-fluff blueprint for absolutely dominating luxury niches on Pinterest. You know, most of the advice floating around out there is just totally outdated. But today, we're diving straight into the exact systems that elite creators use to quietly build search-driven traffic engines that literally compound for years.
Okay, let's dive into this and immediately shatter the illusion that Pinterest is your typical social media platform. The amateur approach, it's a complete recipe for burnout. You know the drill, chasing followers, pinning random pretty pictures, and copying whatever trend happens to be hot today. But the elite approach, the people earning the serious money, they're acting like data scientists. They rely entirely on keyword engineering, psychology-based click-through rate optimization, and highly profitable outbound traffic funnels. So here is our roadmap, the exact strategy brief for building your automated traffic engine. First up, we'll reframe the platform as a visual search engine. Then we'll master a proprietary concept called search gap farming. After that, we'll unlock the psychological triggers for massive clicks, scale production with AI, convert that traffic into actual revenue, and finally execute a bulletproof warm-up and multi-account scaling schedule. Let's get to it. Number 1, the visual search engine. This is our first major paradigm shift. If you take away just one single thing from this explainer today, let it be this. Pinterest is way closer to a visual Google than it is to Instagram. Follower counts are entirely 100% irrelevant to our strategy here. You might be wondering, why on earth are followers irrelevant? Well, it's because content distribution is driven entirely by things like search intent match, save rates, outbound click rates, session continuation, which basically means how long people actually stay on your website, and pin freshness. Because of this, a brand new account with literally 0 followers can completely outperform an established giant simply by satisfying these specific algorithmic requirements better than the competition. Number 2, master search gap farming. Now that we're completely aligned on playing a search engine game, let's get into the core mechanism of our blueprint. This is exactly how smart creators grow insanely fast, by targeting highly specific, totally untapped corners of the market. Let's define this clearly so we're all on the same page. Search gap farming is the technique of targeting high search volume keywords that currently have surprisingly low content competition, specifically to capture high intent users. So how do you actually find them? It's super practical. You type a broad idea into the search bar and look at the highly specific long-tail auto-suggestions that drop down. We never, ever compete in saturated markets. If you're out there posting generic motivational quotes or basic aesthetics, you're just going to get buried. We want the gaps. And this brilliantly illustrates the whole concept. Take a look at the amateur keyword, beautiful bouquet. That yields millions of pins. It's essentially impossible to rank for. But the elite, high-intent luxury keyword, luxury Korean bouquet wrapping ideas, that is a massive gap. Pinterest heavily rewards this kind of hyper-specificity, especially in high-ticket visual niches. When someone searches for that exact long-tail keyword and your pin provides the exact thing they need, your traffic just skyrockets. Number 3, psychological triggers for high CTR. Because look, showing up in search is great, but it isn't enough. You actually have to get the click. Let's look at the psychology here. We need to engineer those clicks through raw emotion and visual contrast. So ask yourself, what actually gets clicks? Beautiful isn't always enough. Just tossing a pretty picture out into the void won't cut it. To really dominate, your visual hooks have to induce intense curiosity or showcase really unusual, highly expensive aesthetics. Instead of a totally boring title like Beautiful Roses, you want a hook like, why are luxury florists hiding this wrapping style? Curiosity always wins. I really want you to let this next statement sink in. You are not selling a product. You are selling a future identity. This is just a profound psychological truth. Pinterest users are planners, right? They're building a fantasy lifestyle. Luxury marketing on this platform is purely about aspiration. When they save a picture of a stunning living room, they aren't just saving the room. They are saving the version of themselves who actually lives in that room. To tap into that future identity, we rely on some core emotional triggers. We're talking envy, luxury, rarity, exclusivity, comfort, and the dream life.
This is precisely why niches like royal flower decor, rich-looking food, and insanely expensive weddings just perform so incredibly well. You use visual contrast and these psychological levers to make the user feel an intense, burning desire to step right into that reality. Number 4, the Freshpin AI system. Okay, so now we know exactly what to make and who to target. But how do we produce all of this at scale? That's where the Freshpin AI system comes in, allowing us to shift our focus to production and scale up using modern tools. Because Pinterest strictly demands freshness, you can't just spam the exact same pin over and over again. But on the flip side, you also don't need to go out and shoot 50 unique photo shoots. You just follow this batch workflow. Step 1. You generate one highly successful cinematic AI visual concept. Then you mathematically transform it. You alter the crop, change up the text overlays, adjust the color palette, swap out the background, and modify the aspect ratio. Boom! Suddenly, that single, beautiful image becomes 50 completely unique traffic assets, perfectly satisfying the algorithm. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer volume required. Here's a surprising reality check for you. The biggest accounts on the platform aren't just posting once a week. They are consistently publishing 10 to 50 high-quality AI-assisted variations every single day. You pull this off through batch creation and really strict template workflows. But please, hear this loud and clear. This massive daily volume is only rewarded if your relevance and your quality remain absolutely flawless. Do not sacrifice quality just to hit a number. Number 5. Funnels and domain trust. So you've got hundreds of fresh pins driving all this traffic. Let's pivot to the business end of the blueprint. How do we actually convert this visual traffic into serious revenue? You've got a few options here. While affiliate marketing and blogging are fantastic for long-term passive income, the ultimate high-margin funnel is digital products. The conversion intent is just insanely high for things like planners, templates, and prompts. Pinterest users inherently love saving and buying useful, printable tools that help them organize their lives. And for you, that means zero shipping overhead and literally a 100% profit margin. It's a total game changer. There is a catch, though. You absolutely must practically verify your website speed using free tools like Google PageSpeed Insights, and you have to ensure you have zero broken outbound links. Remember that metric we talked about earlier? Session continuation? If a user clicks your pin and your website takes 10 seconds to load, they are going to bounce. Pinterest sees that, immediately lowers your domain trust, and completely kills your traffic momentum. Keep your site lightning fast. Number 6. Warm-up and multi-account scaling. We've made it to the final piece of the puzzle. This is the exact execution roadmap for launching these engineered systems without getting yourself flagged for spam. Listen closely to this one. If you start a brand new account today and immediately blast 50 AI pins, you will get banned, no question. You have to follow this strict warm-up schedule. Week 1, just create your boards, save other people's related content, and quietly establish your niche identity. Just act like a normal user. Week 2, start uploading your own stuff very slowly, making sure every single keyword is perfectly optimized. Week 3, only then do you gradually start increasing your fresh pin volume. This is an absolute imperative. And as you're building out that account, you must satisfy this topical authority checklist. Your overall account niche, your board names, your pin keywords, and your outbound domain, they must all match perfectly. If you're doing luxury bouquet templates, every single thing about your profile must scream luxury bouquets. Aligning all these elements perfectly forces Pinterest to treat your account as a trusted expert source. So the crucial point is, why stop at just one traffic engine? Elite creators cluster and run anywhere from 5 to 50 separate niche accounts simultaneously. They use them to hyper-target varying luxury aesthetics. You might have one account just for luxury flowers, another for royal room decor, and a totally different one for high-end wedding aesthetics. Because Pinterest distributes content by niche relevance, keeping them separated like this dramatically increases your overall traffic footprint. And as you scale these accounts, you're going to experience what we call the Pinterest snowball effect. This platform is all about beautiful, delayed compounding. One successful pin ranks in search, it gains saves. That single pin boosts your overall account authority, which then magically makes all your future pins rank significantly easier. A dormant account can suddenly just explode into a massive traffic machine seemingly overnight. But really, it's the result of months of quiet groundwork. Which brings us to a vital consulting truth. Pinterest rewards consistency far more than intensity. You cannot just push hard for a week and then quit when you don't see massive numbers right away. The single biggest separator between amateurs and high-earning elites is simply the grit to survive the initial dead period, where it feels like absolutely nobody is watching.
And that brings us to the ultimate question for you today. Are you ready to survive that dead period and build a visual search engine that quietly compounds your income for years to come? You have the search gap farming blueprint. You know exactly how to find those gaps. You have the AI workflow to scale. You know the psychological triggers to get the click. Now, it's time to actually execute. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you in the next one.